chapter, Taro's Reward. It's a very beautiful story. Beautiful story you should learn at this point because it's the story of a son. This is a new lesson and it's a very beautiful lesson. And this lesson you should learn, I think, because it's a lesson of a boy, of a man I should tell, who was very fond of his old grandparents. Nowadays, I've seen many children not fond of their parents. They are fond of their parents only for their comforts they give. See, you have to look after them in their old age, children, and this story tells you the reward for that. Okay, you just don't look after your parents for their reward. You have to look after them for the sake of it. Okay, children? So, Taro's Reward. A young woodcutter named Taro lived with his mother and father on a lonely hillside. All day long he chopped wood in the forest. Though he worked very hard, he earned very little money. So, what does the story tell? What was the boy's name, man's name? Taro. What was he? He was a woodcutter. So, even if he worked, did he have enough money? No, he was very, very poor. This made him sad. What made him sad? That he did not get enough money. For he was thoughtful son and wanted to give his parents everything that needed. So, why was he sad? He did not get enough money to look after his parents. One evening when Taro and his parents were sitting in the corner of their hut, a strong wind began to blow. It whistled through the cracks of the hut and everyone felt very cold. So, you should remember this story is taking place somewhere in China, and in winter season they have very, very, very terrible climate. It's very cold. So, during the cold season when cold wind blows, how it will be? Oh, very terribly cold. And apart from that, Taro's hut had small creaks and wind came through that. So, making the inmates means the people who live in the hut very cold. It whistled through the cracks of the hut. Suddenly, Taro's father said, I wish I had a cup of sake. It would warm me and do my old heart good. Taro's shivering father told, if I had a cup of sake. Sake is something like a hot coffee in our region. It is some medicinal thing. It's very good to taste when it's warm. It has some medicinal effect that it helps you to keep. See, just think of having a whole coffee after coming back from a heavy rain. How it will be? That's it. Same thing. So, sake is a regional kind of food. Drink they eat, they drink, it's here. Say some kind of dish in Japan, okay, it's some kind of dish in drink in Japan, and it's very tasty, and it costs much, I think, okay. This made Taro sadder than ever. What made Taro sadder than ever? That he could not buy sake to his father, for his heartwarming drink called sake was very expensive. That is it. I told no, sake was very expensive. This boy could not afford it. How do I earn more money? He asked himself. How do I get a little sake for my poor old father? He decided to work harder than before. Next morning, Taro jumped out of the bed earlier than usual and made his way to the forest. He chopped and cut, and the sun climbed. That means right in the morning he went. It was mid-afternoon now. So, and soon he was so warm that he had to take off his jacket. So, in the morning it was very cold, but since he worked for long, it was afternoon now. So, he was very warm and he took out his jacket. His mouth was dry. Why? He was working for so long, so he wanted water to drink. And his face was wet with sweat. My poor old father, he thought, if only he was warm as I. I am young, so, and in this hot sun, I feel very warm. But my father, when it is night and it's cold wind blows, my father, oh, how can I keep my father warm like me now? And with that, he began to chop even faster. I should get him sick. I should get him sick. So he tried to work again. Thinking of the extra money he must earn to buy the sake to warm the old man's bones. Warm the old man's bones means when the father drinks sake, he will be happy and he will feel hot. That's it. Not to burn him. Then suddenly Taro stopped chopping. What was that sound he heard? Could it possibly be rushing water? Did I hear the sound of water? Taro could not remember ever seeing or hearing a rushing stream in that part of the forest. He was thirsty. The axe dropped out of his hands and he ran in the direction of the sound. Hey, there was I did not see a stream or a river flowing when I came here. From where is that sound of water coming? Taro saw a beautiful little waterfall hidden behind a rock. He went near the sound, and he saw a beautiful waterfall. He has never seen it. Kneeling at the place where the water flowed quietly, he cupped a little in his hands and put it into the lips. Was it water or was it sake? Sake means that drink which was very expensive. His father wanted it. No. He tasted it again and again, and always it was delicious sake instead of cold water. Once he tasted, then again he tasted, then and again. It was sake. Taro quickly filled the pitcher. Pitcher means, this thing where you collect water, no. At home you keep it on the table to drink water. Yeah, that's it. Pitcher he had with him and hurried home. An old man was delighted with the sake. The old man, who? His father. After only one swallow of the liquid, he stopped shivering. Why was he shivering? Because he was old and he could not bear the cold. And did a little dance and he was dancing in the middle of the floor. See, what could have Taro felt then? His father was very happy and he was dancing. That afternoon, a neighbor stopped by for a visit. Visited whom? Taro and their father. Taro's father politely offered her a cup of sake. Who bought that sake? Taro. From where did Taro got that sake? From the stream in the morning, right? In the afternoon when he went to collect wood. Okay. The lady drank it greedily and thanked the old man. Then Taro told her the story of the magic waterfall. Taro told the whole story. Okay. Thanking them for the delicious drink. She left in a hurry. By nightfall, she had spread the story throughout the whole village. What a lady. She went to the whole village and told, there is a stream and Taro had got sake from there. The whole story, she made up the story and told it to all others in the village. Did you understand, children? That evening, there was a long procession of visitors. Where were they going? To the woodcutter's house. So everybody came to know whether the story of sake falling in the forest through the waterfall was true or not. Each man heard the story of the waterfall and took a sip of the sake from the pitcher which Taro collected. In less than an hour, the pitcher was empty. Next morning, Taro started for work even earlier than the morning before. He carried with him the largest pitcher. Why? To collect sake for his father. He owned, for he intended first of all to go to the waterfall. When he reached, he found, to his great surprise, all his neighbors were there. Who were there? Neighbors for what? To collect this one. They were carrying pitchers, jars, buckets, anything they could find to hold the magic stick. They were carrying big jars, okay. Then one villager knelt and hid his mouth under the waterfall to drink. So one was just doing like this, would drink. He drank again and then shouted, "Water, nothing but water." Others also tried, but there was no sake, only cold water. "We have been tricked, that Taro is tricking us," shouted the villagers. "Where is Taro? Let us drown him in the waterfall." But Taro had been wise enough to slip behind a rock when he saw how things were going, and he was nowhere to be found. Villagers thought this Taro was tricking us, so they want him to be drowned. "You are telling us the lies, no, let us drown him." But Taro, when he saw all this, he had just gone behind a rock and looked into all this and slipped, and he did not come to the friend. Why? If he had come, then what will happen? Villagers will take him and drown him. Muttering their anger and disappointment, "Oh, this Taro, what should I do with him? If I get him, I'll kill him," they told like that. Villagers left the place one by one. Taro came out from his hiding place. Was it true? He wondered. Was the sake a dream? Once more, he caught a little liquid in his hands and put it to his lips. It was the same fine sake. To the thoughtful son, the magic waterfall gave the delicious sake. To everyone else, he gave only cold water. I told you it's a very nice story, right? Okay. See, when he started drinking, it was sake. And when others started drinking, it was water. So what did you get from this story? That Taro wanted the sake for his father, because he could not buy sake as it was expensive, and he wanted dearly, very dearly sake because his father wanted it to keep himself warm. So waterfall gave sake to him because he knew that was a good son. A good son's deed should always be rewarded. Others wanted it for their use, not for the others' use. That's it. The story of Taro and his magic waterfall reached the emperor of Japan. So, here say everybody told the story. He got sick, but others got water. Everybody told this, and finally it reached the emperor of Japan. He sent for the young woodcutter. He summoned him, "Woodcutter, oh, go collect that woodcutter here," and rewarded him with 20 pieces of gold. You know for what? Listen. For having been so good and kind. Then he named the most beautiful fountain in the city after Taro. There was a beautiful fountain in the city. He renamed it as Taro's fountain. Why? This, said the emperor, was to encourage all children to honor and obey their parents. So why did the emperor do that? Emperor was very good. He knew that the sake was given to Taro only by the waterfall because he wanted it for his father. So he is a very good son who even though he could not afford it, wanted very dearly to look after his parents. So take this story in your mind, children. Look after your parents and your grandparents at your old age, not for anything else, but it's your duty. Okay, children? Bye. That's all for today.